Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Sunday Sermon Epilogue. I'm joined today by one of our pastors, Traig Whitaker, as we think about some implications of the sermon today from Ezra chapter 10 and think about what it might mean in terms of future engagement. Traig, glad to have you with us.
It's good to be with you.
Yeah. Why don't you describe, I'm kind of excited about thinking about this marriage thing because it's in Ezra chapter 10, it's very easy for us to look at Israel and go, bad Israel, and not do enough self-reflection on our own relationships and particularly in our own marriages. And I know you have some things in mind for where we're headed at the beginning of the year that might be helpful for our people to know about. What's that involve?
Yeah, I am looking forward to beginning in February, the first Sunday in February, where we're going to take a focused look at the marriages in our congregation. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a chance to encourage you in your marriage, perhaps point out areas in your marriage that could be better. I think typically when people think about attending something for their marriage, that they are admitting that their marriage is a miserable failure if they participate in such a thing.
They're thinking of it as remedial
yes.
rather than helpful.
Right. And our purpose is not to identify all the miserable marriages that are out there, but if you have a good marriage, to make it better. Mm-hmm. And we're going to take the 4 weeks of February, the first 2 Sundays in March, mm-hmm. and focus on marriage.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, typically at that time, we do electives. So this is going to be something that's different. Ta-da! Something different than we've normally done. Tell us about what your thoughts were and why we as pastors thought this was a good idea.
Yeah. If you're disappointed that there isn't going to be electives, we could just call this an elective.
Yeah.
And we hope that you choose to be a part of it. But we wanted our entire congregation to experiencing something together as we think about making our marriages all that they can be to the glory of God and for the testimony of Christ.
Now, we have a number of people in our church who are not married. What do we have in store for them? So there's from a variety of ages, from young to old, that are not married. What do we do with that?
Right. So our intention is to offer a 6-week emphasis on redeeming your singleness. Whether you've never been married, divorced, or widowed, you find yourself without a spouse. So the idea that we would focus on marriage is not of interest to you. But if you're single, we will have a 6-week emphasis for you as well.
That sounds awesome. You know, one of the things that I think is helpful is how this can be a very direct and clear application to some of the principles in Ezra chapter 10. Even if we think we're in good marriages, the Holy Spirit, can He not reveal to us blind spots or ways in which we've been sinning? And while that may be a messy thing, it's also restorative and even life-giving. And that's our prayer for this. Did you want to share a little bit about who's going to be our presenter?
Sure. We're very excited to have as our special guest Ralph Wingate, who you may know as the senior pastor of Calvary Baptist Church. He served there for decades here in our community, but has retired and has an itinerant teaching ministry. So he's preached at pulpits across the country, actually, since his retirement. But we're going to have him here for 6 consecutive Sundays, helping us to focus on what it means to have a godly marriage.
And those times where he will be speaking in that specific marriage course will be at both 9 o'clock and at 10:30, so that if you're in the habit of going to the 9 o'clock service, you can go to the 10:30 session with Pastor Wingate, or vice versa. So we're making that readily accessible to you. Yeah, I'm just really excited about the opportunities that are lie before us in the weeks and months ahead. And I know we'll get through a very busy holiday season. Typically at the beginning of the year, some of the things that have kind of gotten a little frayed become more aware. And this is a time where we can really refresh that. So be looking forward to what's going to be happening in February. Thanks for joining us, Traig.
I enjoyed it.